Hey Clashers, I waited a long time for this moment because finally we have Moco, the newest game of Supercell, launching, and you can play it already globally on the first day with just following a couple of instructions. That is right, I will share with you how you can play the game already today, but before we're doing that, I will give you a quick rundown of how the game works, what you are pretty much doing in this game, what you're looking for, and just give you a quick rundown. I think with that, we should get started right away. But, quick reminder from my side, this channel is otherwise Clash of Clans, which means if you're looking forward to more Moco content, I've actually created a complete new channel, and that is this one right here, so you can make sure that you're following that. It is going to be only in English, and I will stream as well my journey through Moco over the first couple of days, and as well later today to make sure that you have a first impression of how the game actually works. But let's get things started. And well, the overall job is quite easy. You want to fight versus monsters, and you're doing so with actually starting in your apartment, going through a portal into different worlds, and then you're fighting versus different monsters to overall upgrade your equipment to make yourself stronger and stronger and stronger to be able to fight even stronger monsters. That is the overall concept here. On this way, you have obviously a lot of different stuff to do, where for example, always picking the perfect equipment stuff. You have a ton of different weapons. Those are just a couple of the starter weapons, where you have like healing, single target, multi-target, long range, short range, like a ton of different stuff, and as well active or as well passive abilities. The same as, for example, different mounts and so on. So there is a lot of things on how you can customize your character when it comes down to the offensive power. But you cannot just customize your character when it comes down to weapons and abilities. No, as well when it comes down to the look. This is something which, as you might know if you're following me on with the Clash, then I just love the skins and everything about it. On this one, you have so many options. You can like create your own characters, obviously like different head shapes, hair, color, whatever you want to do. And skins are a really important big topic in this game, which we will talk about in just a second. But before that, let's just go the progression route, because we have now figured out there is a lot of stuff you can unlock with weapons, active passive abilities and so on. But how do you actually upgrade them? The best thing on how you can upgrade them is actually with Chaos Cores. You're getting those from beating monsters, beating bosses, for example, and after visiting a world and you're coming back to your apartment, if you have collected Chaos Cores, you can actually turn those Chaos Cores into upgrades for your equipment. This overall is random of like what exactly is upgraded, but don't worry, there are as well jobs which you can accomplish, and with accomplishing them, you can get then another quest chest kinda, where you then have more impact on what you actually want to upgrade. Every 3 completed jobs, you're going to get one of those quests, which like one of those chests, sorry, to pick one of those 4 gadgets, for example, to upgrade that, which means you have way more control of what you actually want to upgrade. But that's kind of how the progression system works. On top of that, obviously, we have as well the overall quests, which means with that you can then upgrade, like get EXP and upgrade your character. With that, your overall upgrade, like max gear possible, is going to be increased, your hit points is going to be increased, and you're going to unlock new stuff. The same as, for example, with different quests from your overall mission leaders kinda. As well, something on how you can get your character upgraded quicker is completing projects. This means in different worlds you have to take down specific monsters to overall progress through your projects and then get EXP to level up your character to make sure that you have progression and actually being able to upgrade your overall gear and equipment as high as possible to be able to make sure that you can actually beat those different dungeons and everything around. And you can tell already there's a lot of different stuff. You have like projects for different worlds, you have projects for like different dungeons of like completing them in a specific time. We'll talk about dungeons in just a second. You have as well the like mission, like the project of taking down specific monsters, or for example, do work with your weapons. Make sure that with the healing stick you're healing a lot, with some other weapons dealing a lot of damage, and so on. But how does this game now work when it comes down to monetization? Well, it's super free to play friendly. The monetization, everything works with skins. And yes, this still means you can use creator code iTzu if you want to support me and the channel, like in any other Supercell game. But the important thing here as well is that, well, you overall can still spend money, but it's only on skins, which means you're taking no advantage whatsoever. I mean, I just love this. I think it's super cool that this is such a free-to-play friendly game, and I'm really looking forward to how the community is going to react to this as well. So that's already the next positive thing. Another positive thing is going to be the social features. So already from the start, you're going to have some social features. The first one being group chats, or like chat groups, or whatever you want to name it. Which means you can just create your own chat with like up to 100 people, where you can then do a lot of chatting, coordinating different activities and everything, which is quite nice. It kind of works like clans a little bit in Clash of Clans, but overall the group is way bigger, and it's mostly just to make sure that you have overall an active exchange of information and like being able to talk to someone. So like your small local chat kinda. The next thing then is the overall group, which means you can play that and form a group with different friends or with people from your live chat to overall participate in trials or like in different dungeons. I think that's the easier word to understand. First off, there's a ton of different worlds, but then again, there's as well the rifts. This is what I mean with the dungeons. Rifts means that you can join them with up to 4 people, or like typically it's 4 people. Some of them are with like more, some, like typically it's 4. And then you can just complete them as quickly as possible if you want to. And this is then going to get you XP as well. There's as well dojos, which are pretty much single dungeons, like single player. And then you have as well versus, which is going to be PvP, which you're going to unlock with a higher level later on. So there's already PvP in this game, which is super exciting. And on top of that, there is always something going on. Like for example here, we have an active event right now, and those active events could be a lot of different things, like double EXP, more loot, or like here, spirits are walking around, which you then can collect for overall your jobs, quests, or something like that. But I think we should now jump into one of those rifts, one of those dungeons, so I can show you how exactly that works. Since we're on the death field right here as I'm recording this, it's like with boss, okay? So don't worry, like, won't be the quickest run, but I just want to show you how exactly that works. So you have overall like 5 minutes in this one, and you see as well, you have overall right now 4 hunters alive. The important thing here is, if all of the 4 hunters are dying, the rift is over. The dungeon is not completed. Otherwise, you just have to keep moving forward, and it's going to be completed as soon as the boss is done. Yes, there's going to be a lot of tips and tricks on like how we can beat those dungeons as quickly as possible, and yes, I will show you the quickest ways eventually as we're getting into the more and more active stages of Moco. But if you take down the boss, you're pretty much done and you're good to go when it comes down to completing the rift. That's kind of how it works. And as I'm fighting with the bots together towards the boss, I will now explain to you how you can play the game already, because I feel like this is something you're really looking forward to, and I think at this point I was able to hopefully explain to you what exactly Moco is, how it's looking like, and you can decide for yourself if it's something which you would enjoy. As I already said, I am enjoying it a lot, and the cool thing is everyone can try to figure out if they enjoy it as well, because you can play it already today. All you have to do is you can just go into your App Store, Google Store, whatever you play, download the game, and then you're needing one of those activation codes. For the first 48 hours, you can get those codes only from content creators. I will try to keep always an active link in the description of this video, like in the pinned comment. But if it's not like really up to date, make sure that you're visiting my Discord server, because this is where I'm always trying to keep it up to date. I think it's like the new link is needed like every 20 minutes or something. So make sure that you're being active there, but you can play it guaranteed. As well, if you want to make sure that you're always up to date with those Moco content and everything which is new and such things, make sure that you're, as already said, joining my new YouTube Moco channel. It will be linked down below as well, and as I said earlier, it's going to be English speaking, so everyone should be able to understand it hopefully, and that's kind of how that works. As well, Supercell is not naming this release as a global release, because the overall purpose of this is to like really give this game to the core audience, while at the same time then being able to like collect feedback and everything, but it's not really a beta, so it's already the global launch pretty much if you compare it to other games as well, because you can play it globally. The only thing you need is this code. But I'm just looking forward to the future of this game, because as I said already, I was part of most of the playtests. I'm just so excited for this game, and I have actually some of my friends invited for the next week. This is as well why we had a couple of days no uploads over the last few days, and there will be one more day without an upload over the week, and then it's going to be back to daily content again. But over the one next week now during the Moco launch, I will be just non-stop gaming with them and play, and as I said earlier, I was waiting for this release for a long time. I have not been as excited for a game as for this one in a really long time. So yeah, I don't know. It's some people will say like, oh yeah, it's staged, whatever. I'm just super excited for it. But now let's get back to the gameplay, because I want to show you how exactly the finish of those rifts are working like. So when you're doing the bosses and like finishing the bosses, then you're able to like see, okay, what is your final time? And important here is you have to beat certain thresholds to really get the most EXP out of it, which is really important, because in the end, that is really like how you're progressing, like getting as much EXP as possible with the different projects and everything, right? And as well on this one, we're getting it in 3 minutes 45. I even got a Chaos Core, which is really nice, so we can something open right after. And on top of that, after each fight, you can see as well who did what, pretty much. Like who did the most boss damage, who did the most in general damage, which means like so anything which is not a boss, as well how much damage was taken, how much damage was healed, for example, and all of this stuff. And if you go into the next graphic, you can even then see what exactly piece of equipment did what in your composition. So you can really maximize the value overall. Like on the top right, you can see with the stats, you could like say, okay, this equipment did the amount of healing, this gear did the most damage or something. You can really maximize the value out of those different pieces out of your overall gear and loadout. And that is really the cool thing to me, like really trying to find the best builds there as well. It's just going to be a good time, and I'm really looking forward to it. As I said, I hope that you enjoyed as excited as I am. And as well, as I said, this channel is going to be otherwise only Clash. If you want to enjoy Moco content, it will be on my next channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys hopefully back tomorrow with the next Clash video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.